This is the Model E10 Vitamix blender that was commonly sold at Costco at one point. It was brought to me by a friend at work who it was plugged in to the wrong power supply and big power surge. It melted some components on the board. Even if the manufacturer no longer supplies the parts, sometimes you can still find a repair. The repair for this blender uh, cost me $2 in parts and roughly $3 in shipping. So less than $5, and it is now working. So let's get into it. Screws that are under this cover are T20s. I think on the board they're T10s. All right, I'm just going to show the board instead of like the disassembly. It's all very simple. If you notice right here is the transformer that is completely melted. All right, so this is obviously very sped up and somewhat edited. It follows around 15 to 20 minutes of trying to grind this kind of substrate or this what's left of the transformer off of the board, try to clean it up, desolder the transformer, and then eventually try to pry and get the hot air out to really see if I can remove it. It took some time, but we got there. Wasn't easy though. The most difficult thing about fixing this blender has been finding the parts for it. The large transformer that you see here failed miserably. It burned up. Um, this particular transformer, I'll show it to you under the microscope, is created by a company called Marshner. Marshner is no longer, as far as I could tell, making these chips. They have them for quite a while. It is a 1.9 volt ampere transformer. It takes in 115 volts. It outputs 15 volts. Um, yeah, it's. If I have the part number, I have the manufacturer, and as far as I can tell, these are not made, haven't been made for quite some time. The Vitamix blender is not that old. It's just the company either was bought by somebody else or they just decided not to build these anymore. You can see how this one it failed, it melted all the way through. I had to grind, I guess, this material away from the other side to be able to do anything. And it also, it has 8 pins on the back, on the bottom, to connect it to the board. And the closest I could find for a part to replace it is this one. This is from a Chinese company called YHDC. I found this on AliExpress. It is very similar, still, but not quite the same. It is still a 1.9 volt ampere transformer. Has the same primary secondary winding pins. Its input is 110 volts, not 115, but the output is the same. I believe this is the closest pre-manufactured transformer that I can find that may work on this board. It is possible to find a company that will make a transformer for you with the same specs exactly as the one that is no longer made. It's just that process takes a long time, and I don't want to buy, 40 or 50 transformers to repair one blender. But you see, here's one difference. There's only 4 pins on the bottom. Now, because we're talking about primary and secondary windings, what we know is that there's probably only 2 pairs of pins that are valid. The others are just kind of there. And I want to show you exactly what that means because I believe this still works. I think that this one has 8 pins, but 4 of them are only used to attach to the board sort of more stability or more gripping strength, if I can say it that way. Here's the board, and I'm going to shine a light underneath it. So hopefully we can see the traces that go underneath. And we see one trace on the side here, this corner, that comes out of it. If you see the light going through, there's no trace of copper underneath it. And you can kind of see in the middle there's a trace, but that's on the other side of the board. We can flip that over. On this side, there's a trace as well. So on the top of the board, there are only 2 of them. So on the top of the board, this has a trace coming out of it, but there's nothing on this one. There's nothing on this one. There is a trace that comes out of here. So this side only has 2 traces. This side, this is connected, goes to a trace. These two, although they look like they're on this big ground plane, They're completely disconnected from it. So they're just there for stability as far as I can tell. This one doesn't have anything connected on the ground plane, but that is the one that on the other side has this little connector going through it. So there are really only four connectors for this chip. All right, I'm just going to test all of the capacitors, look for any other components that may have failed on this board, and then I'm going to put the new transformer in place, and then I can reassemble everything, and we can give it a try. This capacitor would beep as if it is shorted, but it is not. It has a 30 ohm resistance, which is more than enough to show that it is still working. All right, a little bit of flux. I'm just going to add some solder, get this on the board, and then we can try it. I'm going to cut out a little bit of the cleanup here. This board's been through a lot, so I'll see what I can do. Isopropyl alcohol, 99.9%, and here it is. I'm happy with the way it turned out. It's nice and flush. Looks good. I think I'm going to put this all back together. It's all very basic. There's just four screws on the top, four screws on the board, so I'm probably not going to include it all. I would like to say that it would be nice if manufacturers could at least have parts available for 10 years, especially with a blender of this quality. It can easily last for 10 years, but not having the part means what? It gets thrown away if there's not a repair person or if there's not a Chinese company around that can make a compatible product for it. That doesn't seem like a good practice for anyone. So please make stuff that is repairable. I'm going to just put in the picture of the board. I think that's more useful for people if they have to do this type of repair, just so they can see what connects where. So feel free to pause or look at this a bit longer. And, once everything's in place, put it all back together and we can give it a try. Mango lassi.